What's happening, guys? How y'all doing? What's up? What's everyone doing? Okay, guys, so this is just a quick Q&A that I wanted to do for you all to simply ask, questions about your system or anything in particular that has to do with audio. So let's give it a few more minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to give you, those of you who are here, a little sneak peek of the room. Got the Artisania audio stands, which, hold on, sorry. The Artisania audio stands that I have not set up just yet. As you know, I'm a dealer for Artisania audio stands from Spain. I love the stands, I must say. And I also have a couple of things here. Got the Arrender. Got the Arrender 820. And of course, some Griffin cables that you guys heard. These are the new Griffin Vanta series cables, the $22,000 speaker cables. All right, so a couple of things I'm going to be playing with. Just wanted to let you guys see what I got going on. All right, so let me see if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? All right, perfect. Let me just let you see the Boulder a little bit here. Just all. All right, guys. What do you guys? Let's get it going. It's 30 people, almost 30 people here. All right, so I got a question for you guys. Let's get it started. Give me your impressions of the system as of the last 3-4 videos. What do you guys think about the system? What you guys have been hearing with the Focal, the Boulder gear, and the Select 2 DAC. What's your take so far? How do you compare this system to my previous systems here in the room? Are you guys liking those Focals, the Maestro Evos? Pretty impressive speaker, huh? Agreed. Yeah, the system is definitely way more resolving in detail. Now, a couple of things you guys got to realize, okay? You got to remember that I have been very vocal about the fact that I'm not using any power cords right now, any special power cords. I'm literally using Amazon $9.99 power cords at this time. That's what I'm using. The entire system is using stock power cords. The Boulder is using its own power cord, which is provided by Boulder. So it is not a $9 power cord. Okay, it's the one the amplifier comes with, but it is considered stock because it comes with the amplifier. Okay, so guys, you guys are hearing something special. Okay, I did not spend any money or any sort of money right now with special power cords. The system is playing strictly from a device that I'm going to be representing, that I will be unveiling hopefully next week, depending on how my work week goes, depending on my workload and my bandwidth. But it is playing 100% through a device that I will be representing. And I'm being very vocal about it because I want to be always transparent with you guys. Okay. I'm not going to be lying. I'm not going to BS anybody. I am going to be endorsing this device because it has completely transformed my system and its capabilities. Okay. It has elevated everything about my system. I'm actually going to bed 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm waking up exhausted because I can't get it through my head when it comes to the resolution and the clarity, the spaciousness that my system is presenting to me. Please, I want you guys to understand that audio is subjective, okay? It has nothing to do with something being bad or good, generally speaking. It has to do with what you find good or bad. It's got nothing to do with Jay's take. It's got nothing to do with Stereo Magazine's take. It's got to do with your personal choice. It's your personal choice. It's your opinion. It's your money. And when I do the consultation service, by the way, I got to address a comment that was thrown out there on a particular magazine or an article that came out about me telling people how to spend their money. And if this reviewer is watching me, right now, or in case you guys have seen that article where basically he pretty much called me out with regards to me telling people how to spend their money. Well, if you're nice enough, if one of you guys can send this link when this video goes live, send this to the reviewer. Okay, I'm going to address his comments about me there. Okay, I'm not telling people how to spend their money. That's not what I'm doing. Okay, people are simply paying for my time that I owe to my daughter and my wife and my family, because they want to have my undivided attention and my expertise, my experience, and for me to basically articulate what I think about a product that they might be interested in buying. That's all I'm doing. Okay, the people who do consultation services with me are simply picking my brain. I'm not telling them I'm not forcing them to buy what they don't want to buy. I am basically going about my business the way I do in front of the camera, and I'm telling them strictly on a one-on-one session what I feel they should do or consider. Okay, but I'm not telling people how to spend their money. That's not what I'm doing. Okay, the reality is when people pay me my fees for my service, they're doing it because they figure out it's simple. I'd rather pay Jay his fee for his 1 hour instead of me buying a $100,000 amplifier, instead of me buying a $135,000 speaker and making a huge financial mistake that can potentially cost me $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in losses if I have to sell this product because it didn't work out in my environment. Guess what, reviewer from magazines? Yes, that's why people hire me, because they don't want to go through that hurdle. They don't want to buy from a dealer and spend $100,000 in speakers only to realize that speaker sucked in their room. It didn't work out. So now they have to trade it back to the dealer, and the dealer is going to give them 40 points less than they paid for it. Or now they have to sell it on the used market and sell it for a 30% loss. That's the reason why I am here. So that I narrow that gap. I allow for that to hopefully mitigate that potential mistake, okay, that they can make. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be 100% right all the time, but I can tell you, based on my own knowledge and my own trials and tribulations, everything you guys have seen behind me, my resume is always behind me. I'm not here talking out of my you-know-what. I'm here because I actually walk the walk. I show you guys what I have. I show you guys the level of gear I play with. And to me, that's my resume. That's why I'm able to have a fee and have a consultation service, because of what I do. I don't write for a magazine in a four-wall environment with subpar electronics mismatches all the time. Because, by the way, I must say something to you guys, my viewers, right now. If you always are reading reviews, please do yourself a favor and read the associated equipment to understand if that component that they are reviewing is properly accommodated in that system. Okay. Are you using Nordos cables, but you're claiming Nordos is bright, and yet the associated equipment is esoteric gear with horn speakers, avant-garde speakers? We know that's not going to work. You can't review Nordos cables with avant-garde gear. Like, you know, it's never going to work, right? It's going to be bright. So make sure that you understand the associated equipment. The things that are being reviewed need to be properly matched with the equipment that the reviewer has on hand. Another thing that a lot of these reviewers are doing, and I got to keep it real here, they are reviewing amplifiers without their matching preamplifiers. I have a problem with that. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me tell you why. See that Boulder right there? That Boulder sounds the very best with the matching preamplifier, the 2110. And I'm sure, I am positive, if I owned the 3010, it would be that much better. I am sure. Okay, I'm positive it's going to be better. So when I review a Boulder 3060, and I must say, I was not impressed at all by the 3060 when I first brought it here. I was actually quite disappointed. I thought it was lacking dynamics. I thought it was too dry sounding. I thought, here we go again, back to my Boulders, to my criticism of Boulder in the past, and only to find out the moment I put the 2110 behind the Boulder 3060, it was game over. Everything was fixed. So I'm a big advocate. I'm a big supporter of doing the proper reviews with the proper electronics in the right environment. It's very important that you guys pay attention to the associated equipment anytime a reviewer is reviewing a component you might be interested in. All right, guys, let's open up the table. Go ahead, ask me questions. I already addressed the fact that I am not going to be reviewing the Griffin Commander and Apex anytime soon. Griffin has already acknowledged the fact that I have covered a lot of their gear on my channel. They actually gave me a plug on their Instagram, I believe it was. They mentioned me. So thank you, Griffin, for finally acknowledging my efforts here with Griffin gear. But right now, Griffin has not really promised me anything, at least anytime soon, with regards to a Commander or an Apex. You're probably not going to see me with either right now anytime soon. You guys keep asking me about it. Please, if you see people asking on the comments, Commander and Apex, can you please do me a favor and tell them, hey, it's not going to happen anytime soon. You're probably not going to see a Commander or an Apex before the end of the year. That's basically what I'm saying right now. Okay, so stop looking forward to the Commander or the Apex. It's not happening for at least 6 months. It's probably not going to happen. I am actually working out very poorly right now. I am not taking care of my health right now. I am working a 9 to 5. I am working for you all doing videos. It's Sunday and I'm here doing a live stream, and I've been out on the road running errands, taking care of my duties here in the house, and I am barely having any time to work out. So right now I am basically just not really pushing myself at the gym, but I plan to really soon change that. So as soon as I get I feel better overall, I'll get back into it. I like the synergistic power cell. Yes, it's great. Am I using it with my 2 channel? I am not using the synergistic research with my 2 channel. because I believe the level of Boulder gear that I have right now, quite frankly, doesn't need to be accommodated with just more things. It's so well built, guys, that when you get to the 3000 level of Boulder gear, the amplification, or even the 2110, quite frankly, guys, you could forget about power cords. You could forget about line conditioners. You really do not need any of that. You're wasting your money with that level of gear. You just don't need it. Power conditioner, what plug into it? I have my entire home theater. Okay, my whole entire home theater. In case you guys are wondering, the screen behind me, okay, is an acoustically transparent screen. It's got speakers right behind it. Okay, I know some of you guys have mentioned that maybe it would be a good idea to put diffusers. I can't. If I remove the screen, there is 3 speakers inside the wall. Okay, and I can't do anything with that because of the fact that it will look funny. It will look funky. Okay. So I can't put another screen in there. I got to deal with the screen. I'm thinking about maybe some acoustic drapes behind or something like that, that it's motorized, perhaps that closest in front of the screen. And I can allow for some of those maybe reflections to be absorbed by the curtain. I'm thinking of something like that. But quite frankly, my room is heavily treated right now as it is. But I did want to say to you all that I'm working on a remote session with a specific company that primarily deals with acoustic treatment, and they are going to evaluate my room and begin to walk me through where I need more treatment and what kind of treatment I should be using. So my room is going to now get even more treated to help with the entire presentation and everything else that I may bring into the room. So I have never heard Pellon gear. I have asked Bob at Rhapsody, I believe he is the U.S. importer for this brand, to see if it can facilitate the Pellon components so that I can review them. He said right now, essentially, there is a short supply of Pellon products, and he's unable to provide me with anything right now. So, guys, I have no way of reviewing Pellon gear. He has sole control of the distribution in the United States, and I'm unable to essentially bring anything without his help. I will not be able to review Pellon products. Do I think he's interested in allowing me to review it? I don't see why he couldn't. I mean, if he believes the product is really great product, I don't see a reason why he shouldn't allow me to hear it next to my Boulder gear. I don't think it would hurt the brand. So, but it's up to him. Okay. So I'm going to leave that up to Bob and see if he wants to connect with me and he wants to email me and talk about it. I'm all game, guys. I prefer the MSB over the DCS. Yes, personally, I 100% prefer the MSB over the DCS. Me. However, does that mean that the DCS is no good? That is not what I'm saying here. I had a great time with the DCS Vivaldi when I had it. I had a great time with the DCS Rossini when I owned it. They are world-class DACs. They build amazing products, and I cannot say anything bad about it. But if you're asking me, in my preference, I think that the MSB, just for me and my taste in music and what really checks more of my boxes, I am going to lean with the MSB. Again, this does not mean that the DCS is no good. That is not what I'm saying. It's just a matter of preference. That's all it is. I have never heard audio vector speakers. Never heard of them. What's the best thing about being an audiophile? The best thing about being an audiophile, in my opinion, is that you get to rediscover all these songs, all this music from your heydays, from back in the day that you thought you knew, but when you put together the proper system, you realize I never knew the song. Now I actually get to relearn everything I heard in my past and during my early days. So I like to just rediscover music and hear music in with a different perspective, from a different angle, if you will. You get to be closer to the presentation, and I think that's one of the greatest things about being an audiophile. It's a cool feeling to open up your library and begin to hear songs that you just don't even recognize because your system is that much better now. No plan on bringing any Griffin speakers at this time. I think that if I brought Griffin speakers, I'm going to be forced to buy the entire Griffin setup because I did test the synergy of the entire Griffin speaker with the amp and the preamplifier, and I thought it was magnificent. When I was over at Evolution Home Theater in Georgia, I loved the entire synergistic feeling. The whole presentation was incredible, complete top to bottom. So if I invested in Griffin speakers, that forces me to buy again Griffin components. And to be honest with you, I pretty much feel that I have done my time with Griffin components, with the exception of the new 2 components they recently released. So let me see. Okay, guys, next. Never heard of convergent audio technology amps and preamps. Never heard of that, guys. I will be doing videos on the acoustic treatment that will take place hopefully over the next 4 to 5 weeks. Again, I am going to take pictures of my room. I am going to send them out. They are going to evaluate through pictures. I'm going to send the dimensions of the room, and they're going to be able to just walk me through what I need. Okay, given my my current conditions and the fact that I have a screen behind, I am going to talk about what can I do behind me to enhance the presentation. So I'm going to try to document this and present this to you all in due time. I do not plan to bring any YG acoustic speakers, nothing personal. Honestly, I just haven't really, it hasn't crossed my mind. I hear great things about them. Some say it's very similar to Magical speakers, but the truth is I couldn't speak about the product itself. I think I heard it once, can't remember when that was, and it was a great speaker overall, but can't really give you much feedback about YG acoustic speakers, guys. Do I use REW? I don't use REW, guys. That REW microphone, I bought it. I do have it. But the truth is that I never really got around to using it. I never really got around to playing with it. I did do that when I had the Magical M6. But the truth is, I'm not really a measurements guy, measurements type of guy. I really don't get caught up in the speakers need to measure perfectly from 15 hertz to 60,000 kilohertz. And if they have any sort of humps and nulls or issues or drops and the graph is not perfect, then it's not a good speaker. It's lacking here, it's lacking there. I don't get caught in that, guys. I really will have to say that I align more with Michael Fremer's mentality or take on this, where he's been very, very criticized for owning Wilson speakers and the fact that Wilson speakers don't measure really well. And his response has always been, I listen. I don't like to look at pictures of graphs to determine if the speaker is performing great in my room or not. And I have to agree with that, with his mentality when it comes to that. I don't get caught in the whole perfect measurements. And if it's perfect, it's working perfectly. I just don't. I got to like what I hear. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button so it just helps the live stream. So make sure that other people join. Hit that like button if you have a chance, please. Carda's Audio Quest depends on the system. People are asking me a very vague question. Carda's, or do you want to use Audio Quest? I am going to say it's system dependent. I think both of them make great cables, and I could see a case in which one may be better than the other. It really depends in the type of presentation that you want to. I will do always a DAC separate from the streamer or the music server. A DAC by itself is always going to be superior. Always. You always want to separate the whole thing. You don't want all in one box solution, unless, of course, it is a DCS. DCS has its own software, so you can stream directly. So it works as a standalone DAC that does not need a music server to get going. But however, I will say that the DCS in general sounds better when you have a music server connected to it. TAD speakers, I heard them briefly, but quite frankly, I just didn't have enough time with them to make a judgment call as to whether I want to bring him here or not. I will love to buy Sonos Faber, but unfortunately I don't have any sources right now to locate product and bring Sonos Faber. But I think Sonos Faber is a great speaker. I mean, there's nothing bad about Sonos Faber. I love what the speaker does. Can't really say anything bad about it. AudioQuest Dragon versus Shunyata Sigma power chords. AudioQuest Dragon and Shunyata Sigma version 2 power chords are, in my opinion, outstanding power chords. They're great power chords. Again, I think both of them can be used in different environments. Dragon will have more bass. The high current, anyway, will have more bass. It may have more spaciousness. But I think the Shunyata could work with just a lot more resolution. I feel like Shunyata digs deeper, perhaps, into the music and brings more nuance out of the presentation. But I would say that the AudioQuest Dragon probably would have more bass than the Sigma. Now, when you compare the Dragon to the Omega, that's more of a level feel. That's more what the competition is. I will be a digital guy probably until I die. I don't see myself venturing into vinyl. I have no interest in vinyl. I have been very vocal about it. And if you are a vinyl guy, please do not get your feelings hurt. It is simply the fact that I don't have time to tinker with it. I don't have time to play with cartridges. I don't have time to get lost in the world of vinyl. That to me is a world in itself. To me, you can spend the entire year trying different tweaks on a turntable, whether it's arms or cartridges or all kinds of devices, and I just don't have that time, guys. To me, digital is kind of like electric cars. It's what it is for me, and I just don't have the time. That's the word. And I don't want to be buying vinyl. I don't have time to be locating records and you get 12 songs and then the popping sounds and the cleaning. And yeah, I've heard vinyl setups, not knocking on vinyl. I'm not knocking on it, but I don't have time, the maintenance and the cleaning, and just don't have time for that, guys. Really don't. I believe me, like my day is limited. My bandwidth throughout the day is very limited. What do I like about the sound of your focals versus my Wilsons? Okay, this is going to be a very interesting question. What do I like about the focals over my Wilsons? I would say the Focal Maestro for this room, given my seating area, given what I have and how my room is and how it interacts with the speaker, I personally feel that the Maestro probably has given me some of the best bass performance that I have had in here. I don't think that the Wilson Alex gave me this level of punch. And it could be, who knows, the configuration of the speaker. Maybe the port is too low to the ground. I can't really say what it was. I am almost willing to say that the Alexia 2 was a better bass performer than the Alex was in my room. And it could have been because the port is higher and it's higher off the ground than the Alex is. Never tried Tara cables. I have never tried MSB amplification. Never. I might try MSB amplification at some point. Does my system sound better than the one in Puerto Rico? I think they're both exceptional systems. I've been very vocal about the one in Puerto Rico. It was a very, very magnificent. I think the system in Puerto Rico sounded better than my system here when I have the Alexes in here. This system here sounds different because Wilson and Focal are worlds apart. Sonically speaking, they have nothing in common. Absolutely nothing in common. Wilson and Focal speakers and Wilson are so different. You couldn't compare them. They're beryllium tweeter, soft dome tweeter, and then downfiring port. They're not. It's like Magical and Wilson. So different, tonally speaking, guys. So different speakers. Martin Logan is a great speaker, but I honestly believe Martin Logan needs to start working on a new speaker model. I am tired of seeing the same Martin Logan models. They have been out for too long. I think Martin Logan is long overdue. They need to release a new speaker line. Martin Logan needs to come out and begin to just innovate. It's time. I'm tired of seeing the 15As. I'm tired of seeing the 13As. I'm tired of seeing the Neoliths. It feels like there's nothing being done at Martin Logan. I mean, it's been, 3 years since we've seen anything from them? Significant changes? It's been way too long. Martin Logan is just completely in the rear view mirror right now. If I had to choose one song and just one song to showcase your system, which song would it be? It would be that one song that I played by that French guy, that first presentation that I had with the Select 2 and my Focals recently. I can't remember the name of the song and I can't even pronounce it. It would be that song. That song sounds phenomenal in this system. My room is about 18 wide by 22 deep. Yeah, I'm aware people are saying that my system doesn't seem to communicate bass, the low registers. I can assure you there's bass. Actually, you can feel the bass tapping on your shoulder and neck when it hits. It could be just the microphone, maybe the microphone position, maybe I'm recording from a position where there is some sort of null and the microphone is not picking that up correctly. I really do not know, but I can assure you there's a lot of bass here. I have done measurements of the listening room, but it was a while back. It was with the Magical M6. I probably have measurements somewhere that I may have saved, but that was a different speaker. Yeah, that song, Michael Jonas Le Temps. I can't pronounce it. That song is the song I would use to showcase my system. How would I compare Griffin? That's a smart question there, Rich. You're asking me compare Boulder to Griffin. Boulder and Griffin. That's going to be a video for the future. I want to leave that alone. I think it's a great question, but I think I can make a nice video about Griffin versus Boulder, and how are they different, if at all, or how are there any similarities? The only similarity I can tell you right now between Griffin and Boulder is they're both expensive. That's it. Yeah, I just spoke about this room treatment, guys. Maybe you can watch this video again once it gets released on my channel. I did talk about what's happening when it comes to room treatment in my room, hopefully over the next 30 days or so. My couch is approximately 4.5, 5 feet in front of the wall behind it. So yeah. I already talked about that, Silvio, about Griffin Commander. Let me think. So one thing I can tell you is that I have been on a quest for clarity resolution and not having to crank up my system. I'm starting to actually get tired of blasting my system in order to enjoy it. I am very, very, very driven to find the best system I can possibly put together where the volume or the decibel average is no more than 80 decibels, 82 max. And that is really what I'm trying to get at. I am trying to find audio nirvana at 82 dBs, average decibel levels. And that is very difficult to do, believe it or not. But I am trying to identify the components that will take me there. And I think I'm very close, extremely close, guys, to getting exactly what I need. By the way, I am going to make an announcement. I have another speaker coming. You heard it. I have potentially two more speakers that might make an entrance in my room. One of which was already here in the past, okay? And another speaker that has never been in my room, and it is from a brand that has a lot of recognition, a huge resume, and the whole world knows it. The whole world, even those guys that are here, know of the brand. So stay tuned for that, because we are going to have a three-way shootout, hopefully, between my focals and these other two brands that I will hopefully be getting in my room in the next 2 months. That's going to be exceptional. You guys are going to love that. You're not going to know what speaker, okay, will be here, but it's a brand that is very well known by everyone, including those that are at the low end of the audio world. You will know. And I hope that you guys love this special purchase that I have made for a lot of you guys. I sold, Rich, my VAC preamplifier has been sold to a client of mine in New York, and he's extremely happy with the VAC Master and his Griffin Essence monos. Yes, I have had the Momentum gear. It's great components. The Momentum gear sounds amazing. Very delicate sounding, smooth, romantic. I can't say anything bad about the Dan Agostino Momentum line. I honestly think it sounds incredible. Yeah, so here's what I'm planning for the channel. I plan to have these focals with an MSRP of $80,000 go at it against two other mainstream speaker brands that are also under 100K. And you see why I love my Boulder gear, because I have a 2110 and a 3060 with a select 2 MSB DAC. There's not going to be any excuses for any speaker at all. Whoever you guys choose, and I will have a poll, by the way, you guys will select the speaker of choice. You guys will select without knowing what's playing. I am going to make sure I block the view so you guys do not know the speaker that's playing. And you guys are going to select blindfolded your perfect presentation. As you know, my entire front end is complete top to bottom. There is nothing when it comes to the electronics and cables that I'm missing. So when those speakers are here singing, we're not going to have any excuses of any kind. Oh, you needed a better amplifier for that speaker. Oh, you needed different cables for the other speaker. There is none of that. You are going to hear three different speakers, all under 100 grand. Go at it with over $300,000 worth of electronics, and you guys are going to select your personal favorite. And hopefully you guys are shocked by your own decision and by your own selection of these three speakers and what you prefer. Never tried open baffle speakers. Maybe at some point I will. Never, though. Hit the like button, guys. We have 110 people. Hit that like button. Let's get this video up. Hit the like button. Let's get this video to do better. Never heard of Preamps. Never heard of that brand. Okay, so what is it that you guys want to see on the channel? Give me ideas, because I'm getting to the end of the ultra high-end electronics. I've had just about everything. You guys have seen some of the best electronics in here. And the reality is that I am playing solo here at the top of the mountain. I can't even lie to you. There are times in which it gets a little boring, I must say. When you get to this point, you're really, really by yourself. Really, really. There's nobody like me on YouTube right now that reviews this level of gear anyway, that goes through as much gear as I do, that lives with it, and that is vocal about its, pros and cons. But at the same time, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It gets very lonely, very, very much so. Acura Acoustics is a good speaker. Maybe it's Acura Acoustics. I don't know. $20,000 challenge. Okay. Yeah, I actually have considered comparing music servers in the lab. I have plans to bring the Render N30 SA, and as you know, I own the Takeo Extreme, which I love dearly. But I do have plans of bringing the N30 SA and putting it through the motions and through its paces against the Takeo Extreme music server. Now, maybe that's something that I will leave for my members only section, which I haven't rolled out, and I need to do that. I understand that. But information like that is very juicy information that I think you guys want to know. And if you support me, I think you would have no problem being a member in order to get the most interesting comparisons and obviously things that you guys are really interested in seeing. The power core, in my opinion, makes the most difference. I would say the source. The source is where the power core makes the biggest difference. Now, of course, if you have a spaghetti thin power cord in your amplifier, you may want to upgrade that, right? But I would say the source is where the biggest difference comes with when it comes to a high-end power cord. That's where I would place it. I would place the best power cord into the source. Yeah, real hi-fi Larry, I agree. I would love to try Martin Coltrane 3 speakers. I would love to, but those are very difficult to find here. Do I receive feedback? No, I don't receive any feedback from other YouTubers. I do not. By the way, I want to take this time to make a public apology to Jay, the Canadian audiophile that reviews other components. I made a very, I would say, I didn't fact check with regards to something that I said with OCD Mikey, okay? And I almost forgot to make sure that I say it here. And if you guys are kind enough to send this video to him, please do so. I want to apologize publicly to him because what was said about some, I believe, Nagra amplifiers sounding the same as some Chinese amplifiers that were released that were apparently they're like $3,000 amplifiers and they sounded just as good as Nagra amplifiers. That was incorrect. That didn't come from him. And I want to make sure that you guys are clear that if I'm wrong, I'm going to be here front and center and say it. I was wrong, Jay. My apologies to you, my man. Sorry about that. That was never you. And I'm sorry that I had forgotten to address that. Just so you know, I do watch what you do and I respect what you do. And it's incredible how far you've come. I only wish that I had 50-something thousand subscribers like you do. Okay. So hopefully one day I am lucky enough to be where you are. Who knows, right? It's a hell of a lot of work. I know you work your ass off, for lack of a better word. So I watch you, and I also watch your, I believe, Audio Excellence in Canada. I also watch him as well. So thank you for the plug. Thank you for following me, guys. I saw your video as well where you made references to what I do in my journey. And I watch you guys as well. I actually would love to come to Canada one day and come and visit you and hear your selection of Sonos Faber against those XVX Wilsons. I would love to be there and do a video and a comparison of both speakers. So thank you for all the support. Which amplifiers pair well with Focal? If you want a Focal speaker to sound incredible and not have to chase your tail, please do yourself a favor. Get a Boulder. You're done. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Griffin doesn't sound good. It does. It does. But if you want the best marriage to live with, I would say just get a Boulder if you have a Focal speaker. What else? Let me see, guys. Let's talk about. I want to give this guy, guys. I want to tell you all, if you're going to Axpona in the next, I think it's April 21st, I'll be there. I want to make sure I say this. I will be doing a Q&A with Mikey, OCD Mikey. Okay, it seems to me that a lot of you guys like to see us together. And YouTube analytics is telling me that, by the way, that our videos do really well, by the way. When we collaborate, it seems to really engage our content and our viewers. And I will be doing a Q&A with Mikey, OCD Mikey, over at Axpona. We do not know the location yet, where, but we will be doing that probably Saturday. If you're going to the show, okay, we will be recording the session, and you guys will be free to ask us any questions that you may have in person. So if you are headed to Axpona, be on the lookout, because we will be linking up, and either in his channel or mine, we will be releasing the location and what time we will be doing this. So we definitely want to do another collaboration in person where you guys are present. Okay, so we want to take the opportunity that everyone will be there, so that we can just blend better and we can have a much more friendly discussion instead of hiding behind computers. So I will try to record that for you guys and put it up, upload it on my channel. Hopefully microphones are cooperating, and hopefully the questions that are being asked can be picked up by the microphones. It is very difficult, guys, to do this at a show where there is a lot of noise and a lot of talking. So please, if you're going to the show, make sure you come by, see us, talk to us, ask us all the questions that you have. It's your opportunity, okay? I have never tried Accuphase on Wilson speakers. My only experience with Accuphase, period, is with the Accuphase E800, I believe, the integrated. I was not very impressed by it. I must say that. Didn't really care for it. I thought the Luxman was superior. The Luxman 590, I think it is, it was superior to me. So OCD Mikey and myself got together based on just texting in the beginning. In the early days, we were just texting when I started my channel. Then he came down to visit one of his customers. I made the official invite for him to come to my room, and we started to create content at that point in time. Then I went to his house, and now we're going to be together at a show where I think it's going to be great for everyone to be able to ask us. And we really do not know how we're going to go about it, but just getting raw answers from him and I will be great. So, I think you guys are going to enjoy that content, because, sometimes, guys, the reality is, listen, you got all this gear behind me, right? And if we can't have a sense of humor, if we can't make it personable, if we can't really enjoy what we do and have regular, healthy discussions about anything, it just gets boring. There's no human connection. There's just electronics between you and I. And I think that if you guys can talk to us face to face and have funny discussions and even ask any questions you may have, I think it's just, you guys are going to understand us better. the human that lives within us. You guys are gonna have that better perception of who we are in reality, right? Not so much as in like, okay, this guy is only the ultra high end and he only buys ultra high end equipment and that's who he is. You'd be shocked if you get to know me, okay? I think if you have met me at a show and you have shake hands, if you shook hands with me, I think you guys would know that I am nothing like that. I'm actually a very personable individual. And you can talk to me about anything you want. Devule, never really care for it, to be honest with you, but I'm not going to talk bad about it. So I am very interested in the new Luxman 10X. I plan to bring the Luxman 10X amplifiers at some point. Short supplies right now. My connections have them all sold. There is no M10Xs for Jay right now, but I promise you it'll be a matter of time before I bring a pair of Luxman monos. The new monos should be killers. Gary, jumper cables make a difference, my man. Jumper cables make a difference. If you do not have the money to buy two sets of speaker cables and buy amp your speakers, right? Like my Boulder has 4 binding posts per side, so I can technically use my Opus and my Griffin Vanta and just wire the speakers directly, right? But let's say you don't have 2 sets of speaker cables, invest in some good quality jumpers. They will make a difference. I promise you. My focal behind me improved drastically when I remove the junk jumpers they come with. Yeah, I mean, Raphael, I can tell you that YouTube is saying right now that I have about 70,000 viewers. So there's actually 70,000 people who watch me, but only 10,000 are subscribed. So I need to figure out ways to get people to subscribe. So that's the type of information that YouTube gives you. It's also telling me what time during the day to release my videos so that I can get more views. By the way, they also tell me that my demographic right now, as of late, has been primarily from Australia, meaning a lot of my viewers right now are Australian viewers. That's number 1 country who watches me right now. And the US is number 2, followed by Canada. And I think the 4th was I want to say Brazil. I think Brazil. Yeah, they're watching me. Let me see. Which you prefer, Stella or your current? Good question. What do I prefer, the Stella or the Maestro Evos? You guys, okay, I'll tell you. The Maestro is a passive speaker that is very difficult to drive. The Maestro Evo, it takes serious amplification, okay? Just like Wilson speakers do. The Stella is a lot friendlier to play and power. It's very efficient because it's got those electromagnetic things that are external that you plug into the wall, which helps the woofer. And I personally think the Stella was too big for my room. I thought the Stella was phenomenal, but I just didn't think it was the right speaker for my room. I still believe the Stella is the better speaker, though. However, if you get a Maestro like this one and you learn how to position it, you might be surprised how good it is. You might be very shocked how much of the Stella's performance you can get with this Maestro Evo behind me. Okay, best speaker to pair with Griffin Diablo or Essence. I gotta say this. Look, if you're gonna go with Griffin Electronics and you simply are just looking for that speaker that is just going to say, you know what, I love this match, this amp and preamp, and you don't have to second guess, go with a Griffin speaker. Quite frankly, it will just take all the guessing away. You'll be able to enjoy a quality presentation. You're not going to have to be thinking about things and changing cables because it's too bright or too mellow or not enough bass. If you really want to find the right match for Griffin Electronics with regards to speakers, buy a Griffin speaker. I promise you. It works every time. Okay, watch Poland. I have never been to Denmark. I have been officially invited by Borison, or I think it's, I can't remember. There's a team that owns, a group that owns Borison and Avic Acoustics, and another brand, and they made an official invite for me to go out there and look at the factory, take a look at their facility and how they build product and all the technology they're building and any future developments. I have been invited, all expenses paid, to Denmark. Unfortunately, guys, my 9 to 5, as I mentioned to you, just simply hinders that opportunity. It doesn't allow me to go for a week to Denmark. But they have been nice enough to want me over there to visit them, and they told me that it will be all in the house. They would pay for the entire trip, and it's very, very much appreciated here. And I want to say that I wish I wasn't working. I hate to say that, but if I was not working a normal job like all of you guys, I would have been on my way to Denmark by now. I would have been in Denmark for a week, just covering everything, checking out their facilities and everything that they're developing over in Denmark. By the way, I love a lot of stuff that comes from Denmark. I got to be vocal about that. Denmark has my number. Yes, if you're seeing this, Danish people, you have my number when it comes to sonics, when it comes to the tonality, when it comes to how a system sounds. You have my number. I cannot disagree. You build some incredible electronics. You guys do. I'm not going to lie about that, okay? But one day I hope to go to that wonderful country and visit. So how do I get around copyrights? Actually, there's nothing, guys. I do not make a penny when I play a song. So all those videos that you guys see pop up occasionally with me showcasing how the system is sounding, I get $0. There's no money to be made. Okay. Anytime any song plays, the owner of that song gets paid. Jay gets nothing. I get nothing. Yeah. So streamers, do you need a music server for a DAC, guys? You don't need any of this behind me. We don't need any of this. This is just us being crazy about a hobby. Okay. We do not need any of this thing. We could grab a phone, headphones, and be done and be happy. Okay. This is just us being bored, having the financial means to buy a level of equipment, and just having something to enjoy in life. We really do not need any of this. Okay. That's the reality. So, good question. The 3000 Boulder compared to the 2100 series. 3000 Boulder to me is when you go from being on a private jet. No, you're the 2100 is like being on a commercial airplane, American Airlines, United. When you get to the 3000 series, it's like you're now inside a space shuttle. You're going vertical at 20,000 miles an hour. It's just way different. The 3000 is next level. Really, really impressive gear. Oh, I appreciate that. Offering merchandise. I want to do merchandise. I'm actually working on my website where you guys will be able to go in and buy my used gear, anything that I'm done with. It will be listed on my website. Once I launch it, you'll know. I'll have a bio about me, my story, where I came from, my upbringing, the evolution of my system, of my systems, and just essentially a high level overview of what I'm about. And of course, maybe at some point I'll do my own members only section, like forums, where we can actually have more healthy discussions. The truth, guys, is that it's so crazy to think about it. Let me give you some an overview. Filming YouTube, editing video, shooting video almost daily, or not daily, but at nighttime and on the weekend. Working, being a father. Imagine having a website, creating content for the YouTube members only section. It will be like just ongoing, non-stop. I wouldn't stop. And I understand that I can't complain because that's what I got myself involved in. I get that. What I'm trying to do is do a gradual rollout of everything, one step at a time. I want to have a handle on YouTube. By the way, I plan to hire a video editor at some point that will do a more polished work than I do. And then that will give me more time to not have to edit video. I'll be working on perhaps the website even more, and creating other sort of content that you guys might find interesting. I never heard of that. Chines Hi-Fi. Never heard of that, guys. Unfortunately, never heard of that brand. I know it's not high-end brand. Have you heard of? Never heard of that product of Van Alstyne products. Never heard of that. And then let me see. What's the next question? What else do you guys want to know? Let me see. Streamers. I respect the DAC streamers you have. Yeah. Overall, guys, the amount of time that I have here sometimes doesn't let me to continue to expand my brand. Okay. I appreciate you guys asking me for t-shirts that you guys wish I sold merchandise. Really means a lot to me. Really means a lot to me, because I know that, for you to even wear something with my name on it has to really mean that it's that special to you. Okay. And wow, I mean, I am speechless just to hear that. I have heard open baffle speakers. They are something special. I just have never really ventured into that, type of presentation. Streaming service right now, I am rotating between Tidal and Cobus. I hate the fact that Tidal gets hung up often when I use Rune. It continues to give me errors. Sometimes it skips songs completely. It won't even start the songs. Tidal just gives me constant issues. Okay. And some people are saying it's your network. Well, why is it not happening with Cobus? I never have a problem with Cobus. It plays song after song after song without any issue. So I am thinking of completely leaving Tidal and beginning my journey into Cobus and just creating my playlist on Cobus, because I just don't have any issues with it. I really don't. Let's hit that like button, guys. Let's get those thumbs up. Let's get them up. Get those thumbs up. I have used cassette tapes in my youth. Yes, in the past on those boom boxes. I remember having cassette tapes because I couldn't afford to buy the CD. So the CDs were like $19.99 and the tapes were like $9.99. I was a huge Michael Jackson fan in the 90s. I remember when the album Dangerous came out. I went out to the record store, and I bought the tape because I couldn't afford the CD version of it. Okay, so I remember that. I was actually the guy walking with a Walkman with my tapes in my pocket, changing them out and listening to music. That was me. So I came from nothing. I can tell you that I came from nothing. What is the most important about the most important thing about music? Wow, that's such a I think that's a personal question. What's the most important thing about music? I think it's your connection to the music. How are you attached to it? What attaches you to a particular song? What brings out emotions? What is it about a particular artist that you enjoy? So that's so subjective. That is such, again, that varies person to person. And so music really is, in my opinion, your own journey internally with a particular song, or just the fact that you can think about your past life when you listen to a particular song, or your current life. To me, it's how it fills your soul with joy and emotions. That to me is the most important thing about music in general. Raphael, am I planning on making a living through hi-fi activities? I plan to at some point. But I listen, the future is not promised. We all live on borrowed time. We never know if we're gonna wake up the next day, right? So it would be nice to make a living through hi-fi. The truth is, I do not make a living doing this. It doesn't pay all my bills. It doesn't do that for me. Okay, so this is why I still work, and I'm very very blessed to have a great job with a great group of people. But the truth is that it would be great to make a living, okay? But unfortunately, I have to keep it real. I have to represent some lines if my plan is to eventually create some sort of uh, income or a stream of revenue for me, okay? I can't do this just on YouTube, at least not now. And I don't plan on having 100 brands. I already said this. That's not what I'm trying to do. That's not my intent here. What I do plan is to represent those things that I feel are almost irreplaceable. Okay, so silver or copper cables, it depends. It's system dependent. I would say with Wilson Audio speakers and Magical, I would never use silver cables. I think with Wilson Audio and Magical, I would stick to copper cables. But if I was using perhaps a warm speaker, like maybe a Sonos Faber, the old generation Sonos Faber, like the Amati Futura, which were very, very warm speakers, I could see why you could, Nordos would be a great match. So it really depends on the speaker selection and the level of electronics that you have. There's no right or wrong with regards to a speaker selection, speaker choice, a speaker cable choice. I used some footers. Yeah, I am using. I am going to be using some footers from Artisane Audio that I have not talked about yet. I am going to start evaluating them soon, but I do believe that footers are important. However, keep in mind, change is not always an indication that something positive occurred. Remember that. You may hear change. Don't get fooled by it. You need to evaluate that change and determine if it was a positive change that took place. Okay. Remember that. I have never heard Tannoy speakers, but I hear they sound like fine audio speakers. But I have never heard. I had never heard them. No. All right, guys. So a couple of more questions I'll take now before I sign out. What other questions do you guys have? Once again, if you're going to Axpona in 2 weeks, at this time in 2 weeks, we will probably be doing our Q&A session with my OCD Mikey. Which album would you take? Let me see. Which search deeper? Am I still searching for my best speaker ever? I wouldn't call it my best speaker ever. I don't think that, you know, every speaker is special. Every speaker that I've had here has been special. The Magical, just yesterday, I was thinking about the Magical M6. I wish that speaker was still here because I would have loved to hear the Magical M6 with my Boulder gear. I wish my Alexes were here because I love the way they sounded in Puerto Rico. I wish I had a Sonos Faber Aida too in here. I love these vocals. I think every speaker has been special for me. I can't really say I've had a terrible speaker in here. It's more just about the levels. I've had speakers that were at this level because they were more affordable. I've had speakers that were here, like the M6, the XLFs, that level of speaker, right? So every speaker has been special for me. I can't think of one that I rather really have forever, like because I haven't had everything with regards to speakers. I think there's still a lot more to explore. But the Sonos Faber Aida 2, I'm not gonna lie, the Sonos Faber Aida 2 has my number. I'm not going to BS there. AlsaVox speakers. I have heard great things about AlsaVox speakers. The problem is, it's very controlled in the United States. Not many sources to acquire the brand, and but nothing really bad to talk about. I mean, I can't say it hasn't, been a brand that has not piqued my interest. I think it has. But it's so rare here, guys. It's so rare to find that. I may have to go to Munich at some point to hear it. I had never even heard that speaker in person. What I see, where do I see technology going? Have you guys looked at the latest um, announcement that the U.S. government made, which is that they want to see more fuel efficient vehicles by the year 2026? What does that mean? We're going to start seeing far more hybrid and electric vehicles. This is the beginning of what change will be like. We are going to be more concerned with being more fuel efficient. And that means also at some point, we're going to start seeing more concerns with electronics and the amount of power they're required to operate. I do believe that at some point, there will be that point in which you're not going to be able to have amplifiers that are drawing 1,000 watts from the outlet when they're idling. I think those days are going to come to an end. We're going to start seeing more efficient amplifiers that, if they're on, they're not sucking anything more than a watt or two, and that's that. But if they're off, if they're playing, they're going to have to figure out a way to make them be more eco-friendly, where they're not costing you hundreds of dollars every month when it comes to electric bills. So I think that's going to happen. I think it's a matter of time before we start seeing that, and I believe Class D could be leading that effort. I think Class D could be the first generation of amplifiers that will begin to show what's possible with less power consumption. So the difference between using, sometimes, guys, I will say this, sometimes you may have an amplifier brand that builds, or a manufacturer that builds an amplifier, and then they build a matching preamplifier, and then you can buy the matching DAC, which also works as a preamplifier. Perfect example, Boulder 2110. I believe they have a 2120. I think it's the model of the Boulder DAC, which also serves as a preamplifier. I hear rumors all the time that sometimes the best way to go is to buy the manufacturer's own DAC / preamplifier rather than buying their preamplifier. Have I tested that theory? I have not. Perfect example, Solution. They have a 760 DAC, which could be used instead of the 725 preamplifier. Now, I do not know if the 760 is actually a superior preamplifier than the 725. Rumor has it the 760 Solution DAC has essentially the same preamplifier section that the 725 has. So, in essence, you really do not need a 725 if you have a 760. Have I tested that theory? I have not. I think that really is something that I may need to look into. But I can tell you that having a world-class preamplifier has never failed me. I have never regretted owning a world-class preamplifier and not going DAC direct. I'm not going to say that DAC direct does not work. It works. It does the job. Does it do it as good as a preamplifier? Maybe, but I have certainly never met a DAC that can rival some of the best preamplifiers available to us today. I believe a preamplifier does things that many DACs just simply miss. For instance, the dynamics, the big soundstage, probably more control over the speakers. There are many things that a preamplifier has under the hood that you simply cannot fit under the hood of a small DAC. It's impossible to put all this capacitance and all these things that go under the hood of a preamplifier into a DAC. Now, am I saying that a preamplifier is always the way to go? No, but for the most part, for me, a preamplifier has always been one great addition to my systems. I have never regretted going with a preamplifier. So if you have the funds, try both. If you don't, I'll say that's fine. You can get away with going DAC direct. It's not going to make you lose sleep at night. I am still using transparent. Yes, transparent cables are working phenomenal with the Focal speakers. Okay. Guys, if you are asking questions and I'm not responding them, maybe you came in late and I have already responded to those questions. So when this video gets posted on my YouTube channel, try to watch it again, because maybe you came in late and you have missed a lot of the questions that I have already addressed. Okay, so maybe your question has already been answered. Speaker cables. Thank you. Did you ever consider balance? I have balance audio technology BAT. I've had it. I've had some old generation BAT amplifiers, balance audio technology. I didn't like it, maybe because it was an older model, right? I found it too warm. Didn't have a lot of resolution. It was huge. It was heavy, and it really didn't take me to the promised land. Now, today's offerings, I can't really talk about them. I am sure they're better than what I tried, but my first trial with balanced audio technology was not really anything to talk about. Griffin speaker cables between Focal and Stella are good. Yeah, Griffin speaker cables are absolutely great with Griffin amplification and preamplification. Griffin cables in general have great synergy with Griffin electronics. If you do not want to be chasing your tail with cabling and you have Griffin electronics, do yourself a favor and get Griffin cables and be done. Don't have to worry about whether it sounds good or bad. It will sound good. I know it will. Wilson speakers with Griffin sound amazing. Wilson has tremendous synergy with Griffin, and so does Dan Agostino. They sound really good with Wilson speakers too. As a matter of fact, I know Dan Agostino uses Wilson speakers in his lab to voice his amplification, to build his amplification. They use Wilson speakers, and so does DCS. DCS uses Wilson speakers in their factory in the UK. So I know that they build around Wilson audio speakers. Okay, so let me see. I've never owned Martin speakers from Sweden. I have never owned them. I would love to try those speakers. They're beautiful looking speakers. I would love to try Tidal speakers. I would love to try maybe even avant-garde speakers. I would love to try Alsavox speakers. All those speakers are speakers that really would be great to have here and play with. But again, they're very difficult speaker brands to come by. Consider getting a pro setup to do the final tweak. No, I have never considered a pro setup to do the final tweak on my system. No, I never consider using that. And yeah, so that basically wraps it up for me, guys. An hour and 20 minutes of your time. Thank you for giving me this support. Thank you for all you do. Nothing goes unnoticed. Okay. You guys need to know that I would not be here at this level if it was not because of your support. None of this matters. None of the gear here behind me matters if I didn't have you guys to walk with me and want to hear what I have to say. I would be a very bored man in a man cave. And that's the truth. Okay. So please continue to support me, to subscribe, to be part of my journey. We are going to keep pushing things harder in 2022. And remember, do not forget to subscribe on each video, hit the thumbs up. Plus, be on the lookout for that 3-way speaker comparisons. We will hear, again, I will repeat it, my focals behind me against a very well-known speaker manufacturer that everyone and their mother knows, and also potentially another speaker that has already been in my room that might make an entrance again, because I want to do a 3-way shootout between these 3 brands, and I think you guys will not want to miss it. Until next time, guys, I will see you at Axpona 2022. Thank you. Peace.